if you are thinking about retiring or if you are already retired, these 5 things or addressing these 5 things may improve your retirement lifestyle and increase your peace of mind and increase your confidence into the next stage of your life. In our retirement, we don't want more. We want less stress, less clutter, and more life. Hi, I'm Mike Patel, and after 25 years of selling homes and talking to buyers and sellers almost every day, I have learned that one of the secrets of retirement isn't accumulating, but it's about strategically letting go of the right things at the right time. And I will start with one of the most considerate things. And I've learned that the first thing and one of the most considerate thing that retirees tend to do or think about doing is thinking of downsizing. You may have a big house, 4 or 5 bedroom house, and the kids are gone. You had 3 or 4 kids. You have a pool, you have a large yard, and it's time to downsize. This big house is eating up your time and energy and, of course, your finances. I actually sold a house a few years ago. It was a big house. This family that I've known for years, they were almost in their 70s. Kids have gone. One was a doctor, one was a lawyer. In the house, they had a swimming pool, they had a view, a large yard, and they realized that there were just 2 of us. They never go upstairs. They never go in the living room, and it was gobbling up their finances and time. They had to pay the gardeners, the utilities, the property tax, the insurance. So what they decided to do is downsize. They sold their house and they moved out of state. They actually moved to Arizona, bought a smaller single-story brand new home, and with all the money that they've made, they enjoy traveling, and of course, they also helping their kids whenever they can. But they are enjoying their life. They don't spend their time taking care of this house or maintaining the yard or filling it up with all the things in the house because it's still a house and they did not want to keep it empty. So by making a good decision, by downsizing at the right time, at the right place, in the right weather, and in the right location when it comes to weather and amenities and travel, they are happy today and enjoying their life to their fullest. On the same token, just last year, I sold another house. This was a 2,000 square feet home. And this couple who was 65, very well-to-do, and they did not want the big house. They wanted to travel. They wanted to invest. So what they did was they pulled out equity from this house. They have a lot of equity. The house was worth over $1.5 million. Pulled equity out, rented it out, and then with the money that they got, they bought another house in Florida, and now they're enjoying their travel, and they also have friends who moved over there. So they just have a ball now. They made the right decision at the right time. And if you are in California, you may want to watch out for those capital gains property taxes because you can get up to $250,000 or $500,000 or capital gains credit. So these people also paid a lot of capital gains tax, but even with those taxes, they're enjoying their life to the fullest. So it's something you may want to consider should you think about moving, whether you're in California or any other states. Always talk to your accountant or your professional before you make this big decision. And here's a chart that shows you 10 signs it's time to downsize and sell your home. It could be your monthly housing expenses. It could be you want or need to convert your home equity into income. It could be number 4, your home no longer fits your needs. It may be a 2-story and you want a 1-story. So that may not fit your needs. Other reason is that you want to change your lifestyle. You may want to move into a better weather where you may want to move into a location where there's great weather like California or Florida or Arizona. The second thing that you may want to address when you are retiring or you are retired is helping out your kids, your adult kids. And this is a tough one. And I see a lot of parents struggle when it comes to this decision, including myself. My kids tell me, hey, Dad, chill, go travel. We don't want your money. That's a good thing. But as a parent, we always want to help them. We always strive to help our kids, help them financially or physically or with kids. But sometimes we just have to make a decision and let them be kids, let them struggle and learn as we did and enjoy our lives and our freedom. We all want our children to succeed, but sometimes that help comes at the expense of our own freedom. I just helped a 30-year-old buy a house. Of course, their parents helped her with the down payment. They gave her $100,000 in down payment, but it took 3 years of their life on traveling. The parents, when they retired, they had 2 daughters. They did not know where one of the daughters was gonna go. So they moved with this daughter out of state. They stayed there for 6 months. They came here with this daughter, hoping that they will buy a house or she will buy a house, and she never did. After 3 years, she finally bought a house. We just closed escrow a few months ago. But in the 3 years, the parents moved, didn't know what to do. They they were renting or they were staying with their kids and went back and forth from one state to the other state and lost 3 years of their precious retirement. And finally, she has settled down and now they're moving back to Florida and getting their own home so they can retire. But guess what? 3 precious years went by fast. Like the saying goes, if you can help without hurting yourself, great. But if you can't, your kids will figure it out. That's part of life. Boomers want to help their kids. Instead, they're getting resentment. The third thing we need to address as retirees is our expensive toys and our expensive hobbies. Yes, this can get expensive. When we were earning, we could afford it. But now that we don't have income coming in or not as much income coming in, these hobbies and toys could get expensive. I have a friend of mine, actually a friend of a friend. He loves to play golf and he loves to travel. He doesn't want to play on the local courses. He wants to travel the world. He goes to Thailand. He went to Ireland. He went to Scotland. He went to China just to play golf with his friends. He finds other friends who want to play and it gets really expensive. The wife doesn't always go with him and she gets frustrated because this gentleman spends a lot of money out of the home, stays out of the home, and travel costs a lot of money. That's an expensive hobby. And his friends have also told him, look, you need to cut back on it because now he does not have any income. He's on fixed income and he's blowing a lot of money from his savings. So it's certain habits, we've been doing it for 20, 30 years, may be difficult to do. And sometimes we have to rethink about our habits and not keep going in and think about our future. We live longer now. If we are 60, we may live until 80, 84, especially for men. So we want to make sure that our finances or our retirement account is not draining very fast. So we have to control the amount of money we withdraw. Are we withdrawing money at a fast rate when it comes to our hobbies and our older habits? That is costing us. I was also talking to a friend of mine. He sold a house in Anaheim Hills, actually where I'm at. And this house had a 6-car garage. And each of those garages, they had 4 collector cars and 2 of their own cars. And after he retired, he spent a lot of money on those cars, restoring it, painting it, taking it to trade shows, and it cost him a lot of money. One thing that cost him a lot of money was insurance. So finally, after their kids nagging them to sell these cars, he finally sold all those cars. He kept one of his favorite ones, and he's happy. And he took the money from the cars that he had, and he got a lot of money from these cars because they were restored to their original condition. And he's using it to actually buy a rental property, which he did, paid cash for it. So now he's getting almost $3,000 a month in cash flow, and they also travel a lot. So all the money that was tied up in those cars are now being used to enjoy their lifestyle, to the precious 10, 15, 20 years that they may have left. So it's something that we may want to address. What are our hobbies that are costing us? What are our toys that are costing us? What if we let go? Can we learn to let go? It may be difficult, but it's something we may want to give a thought to it. Sometimes letting go of a few things helps you enjoy the time with your loved ones. Do you have any examples or what you are thinking of letting go or what you have let go, whether it's a toy or a hobby? Share with us so we can enjoy and learn from what you did. Please make comments below. Talking about cars, the fourth thing we may want to address is how many cars do we have? Do we have 2 cars in the house? Do we have 3 cars? And do we actually need those 2 cars or even the third car? If you're not commuting anymore, do you really need 2 cars sitting in the driveway? By the way, those sitting cars are still costing you. You may not be driving them, you may not be taking them out a lot, but they still cost you. Let's look at this chart. Cars have depreciation. Fuel costs money. You are paying insurance. As you know, insurance has gone up sky high, not only for homes, but even for automobiles. Plus, even if you don't use it, you may want to maintain and repair your cars. You have to wash them. You have to clean them. And of course, there is always those registration fees and taxes that you pay on it. So even though you may not be using these cars, it's still costing you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 per year. One of the things that you may want to do is do a test. If the second car is just sitting there, whether you're a couple or single, do a test. Don't use that car for 90 days and see if you can work without having 2 cars. If you're 2 people or 2 drivers in the car or even more drivers in the car staying together. Try with 1 car, give it a 90-day test. And if it works out, you may want to consider selling it or giving it to somebody or donating it. At least you will save save all those insurance, registration, maintenance, and gas costs. Something you want to consider, because this is a very common problem. A lot of the families have 2 or 3 or 4 cars. I sell a lot of homes, and one of the questions I always ask before I show them home is, how many cars do you have? And the reason I ask this question is, if they have 2 or 3 or 4 cars, 2 or 3 or 4 garage house, or want to make sure that they have enough parking in the driveway, because a lot of cities in California, especially in Southern California, are now having restrictions on parking on the streets after certain hours and during certain hours. So the number of cars that you have is a big factor in your retirement life. Let us know, how many cars do you have, or if you are thinking of getting rid of any and save some cost. And of course, as we retire, we have to keep in mind that the point isn't to give up, it's to simplify and have more freedom from ourselves and from the things we are attached to. The fifth thing that we want to address or sell is a tough one, and that is your job title. This is a tough one because you can't sell it. It is your work identity and who you are. There's nothing you can do. You cannot sell this. This one hits people harder than they expect. Letting go of your work identity. We know of a retired doctor, Dr. John Davidson, not his real name, and now he tells us he's just John Davidson. He actually misses being called Dr. John Davidson, and what he actually did, even after retired, he still went to the hospital and started working part-time because he wanted to be identified as Dr. Davidson, not just John Davidson. So for a year, 2 years, he struggled. But finally, after conversation with his wife, after conversation with his kids, and this doctor was loaded. He did not have to work. He had tons and tons of money. He had over 20 properties that he invested in and lots of stock. So he did not have to work. But he worked because he did not want to lose his identity. Finally, after 2 years of work part-time, he let go and he realized and he started traveling. So if he was not here locally, he didn't have to think about it. So the first 1 or 2 years, he traveled with his wife and his family all over the place. And then after he came back, what he enjoyed is that he decided he wanted to help other countries. So now he goes to other countries and he goes into villages and helps them voluntarily. And he never calls himself, or he never allows others to call himself a doctor. But now he volunteers in the medical field, doesn't do surgeries, etc., because his license is not current, but he's enjoying his lifestyle as John Davidson. Somebody is volunteering and enjoying, not only helping, but enjoying the traveling with his wife, and enjoying his identity as John Davidson, not a doctor anymore. That's a big shift. Lots of older Americans are reinventing their lives. Hear why it matters to all of us. So I wanted to take a little bit of time about a 3-step framework as you retire or as you have retired. Before you sell or change anything, ask these 3 questions to yourself. Does this serve my new life or my old life? For example, your identity. Is it serving you right now, or did it serve in your past life? Who you were and who you want to become. You may still have 10, 20 years to go. Do you want to be who you were? Or is there somebody else that you can be? The second thing you want to ask yourself is, what is this really costing me in money, time, and stress? We talked about the cars. Are those cars costing you money or giving you enjoyment and freedom? Or are they a drain on your finance and your time and your energy? You want to ask those questions and see what's happening to some of the things you have, some of the hobbies you may have, and what if you change those? How will your life get better? Or will your life get better? For example, we talked about the big house. And if you have a big house, do you want to downsize? Do you want to still keep paying for those high utilities on that big house? Do you still want to keep paying for the pool you may have? Do you still want to keep paying for the big yard that you have? It's costing you money, property tax, insurance, homeowners association, maintenance, keeping that house filled up. So something you may want to consider. Look at what you have and look at where you want to be 3 years from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. Can it get better? Can you have more freedom? Something you may want to consider. And the third thing that you may want to consider is, if I let go, what new experiences might show up in my lifestyle? Or what more new experiences will open up for me and my family? What am I clinging on to that's holding me back to find something that I may find more interesting as I get older, as I get slower, as I have more money, as I let go of other things? As an example, let's say you sold your big house and you had a lot of equity in that house. If you sold this house, buy another house, smaller or wherever, single story, and you have a lot of other extra cash, what can you do with that? Can you help more to your kids? Can you give more donations? Can you give to more charity? Can you travel that you always wanted to? Can you find other new hobbies now that you have money that's not tied up in your equity. You have it in your hand. You also have retirement accounts. So what channels are opening up by making that move? So a lot of things to consider with these 3 questions of the framework. The happiest retirees I know aren't the ones with the most stuff. They're the ones who figured out what to keep and what to release at the right time. This isn't about deprivation, it's about freedom. You've earned the right to live lighter, simpler, and happier. If any of these ideas make sense or have hit you, please share with us. We would like to find out what hit you the most. And if you like this video, I would like you to watch this video. It's pretty interesting.